What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the A Show with the Kings, a pro wrestling podcast. I am Justin, here with Meals. What's going on, Meals?
I'm cool. I'm chilling. Recovering from twisting the shit out of my ankle last week. So
What happened?
pretty. I just rolled my ankle, but it's fine now. I think it's fine now. But I couldn't walk for like a day after that. Like literally could not move and walk and all this other things. Um, yeah, I mean, so you know what? Don't roll your ankle because it's terrible, especially as an adult. Like just walking off the sidewalk, rolled it badly too, and then I walked for like another mile after that.
And they call me old.
What do you mean? Roll your ankle? Anybody can roll your ankle. You could roll your ankle. I don't know. You drive everywhere, so I don't even
Well,
know.
I
Do
feel like
you
I've had.
roll your ankle getting out the car? I don't know. Whatever.
I feel wow, that was hate. I feel
Getting
like
out the BM, the Bimmer. Is it?
Jesus Christ. I actually feel like I've had a pinched nerve all weekend, and
Oh,
you
okay.
back in the day. When I would have this feeling of like I had people call it like a crick in your neck. That's like a country way of saying it, but like I felt
It's
like I've had
easily a
that
country way. It's super
in
country.
my neck. But like I'm pretty sure people who are like whatever. You know what I'm saying? If you country, you know what I'm talking about. But it felt like it started like a pinched nerve, and usually back in the day it would heal in like a couple minutes, right? Like I've had this pain in my fucking like up my spine for the past 3-4 days, and it has not gone away. Well, it's starting to go away, but it's like, bro, it's chaotic. My body is chaotic right now.
Are you willing to let it subside? Are you like usually a I'm going to the doctor type of person first, or you just kind of try to see if you can get it like let it subside and
I
figure
let it
itself out?
slide. I let it subside because the pain wasn't at like a 7 like it was the other day. Like I literally was just like had to tell my wife like I need you to like grab the groceries on Sunday because I just couldn't. You know what I mean? Like I was hurting.
Damn,
Yeah.
damn.
Here's my thing. I don't look old, but I'm getting old.
Yes, you don't look old, but you are getting old. That is accurate for sure. Uh, Listen, no, I mean, these are things that happen with. Why are we talking about this? Why are we started off the podcast like this? We're young, we're virile, we're amazing, we're podcasting hosts, and we're here to bring you the best things in professional wrestling this week. You know, with our young, hip, new, fresh, fat delivery and awesome. What do they say uh, when they describe things like humor? Uh, Fuck, I forgot what the word
I
is.
don't know what
No,
you're
no,
going here.
yeah, I mean, I don't think we're following each other anyway on this podcast, but we'll find each other on the way there. Um, I'm just letting you know. I think we're both obviously we're both busy doing things, and we're doing this in the middle of all this. So like, I'm doing something. I'm sure you're doing something.
I'm
Um,
always doing something. You already know I'm in Discord right now.
I'm currently doing some work stuff, so it is what it is. But you know what? Speaking of work stuff, last week we sent out the APB on office hours, and we asked people, "Hey, do you have anything that's like currently troubling you at your employer? Maybe there's someone you want to fight that you can't really fight.
And we won't
Maybe there's
reveal the
something." No, no, please don't. I mean, one of them reveals employer, but you know, I don't think you'd be surprised at said employer and anything that's going on.
is it
Um, but
Cyrus?
no, actually, I don't even know if Cyrus submitted anything. Terrible,
Okay.
terrible Cyrus. Nonetheless, um, we got some responses. Actually, let me close that so we're not accepting responses anymore for our office hours. Are you ready to pause from your day of working to also attend to other people's questions on working? And some of these are actually like good, like questions that possibly more than one person can get some good knowledge from. Are you
Yeah,
ready, sir?
I'm willing to go from an hour and 30-minute meeting to a meeting about meetings.
Hey man, here we are. I mean, tis the workday. You know what I'm saying? So we doing off. We need a sound. We need a thing for office hours, man. We need like a little, not a flex bomb, but you work that out. You got the roadcaster. Record that and then
Let me find a jingle. Let me
cue
find
it.
a jingle. Let me find a jingle.
Find a jingle. Yeah, find a
Uh,
jingle. Listen, but listen.
I typed in
While we're
jingles leak, and hold on. Let's play this one. Let me see. Oh, wait, I thought this thing wasn't gonna have words.
all right.
Did you hear
Well, no, I didn't hear that, but
that?
it
Okay.
is what it is. It is what it is. Let's get to the first one, okay?
All right, go ahead.
First one is obviously from our pal DMV fan.
What's up,
Um,
DMV?
he says, looking for interview advice. How do you prepare for one, and how do you account for the questions that might throw you for a loop when asked?
That's a good question. That's actually a really
I
good
feel like
question.
you. I feel like you're really good at this, by the way.
I'm great at interviews. I'm great at
I'm gonna
interviews.
let you have the floor. I'm gonna let you have the floor. I have stuff, but like I'm gonna let you have the floor. You're in your element here.
So I think the key to having a good interview, of course, is to be knowledgeable about what you're interviewing for and what you're trying to reach or get out of this job. I think you should study what that employer is, and ask questions that are relevant to what it is. Like, what were you guys' goals last year, and did you hit them? What happens when you don't hit your goals? What's your day to day? What's the day to day work like there? Asking those types of questions lets people see and realize, like, hey, you really care about, what I'm saying, what's going on here, and this is somebody that, if we were to hire them, they would be, up to the same standards, or trying to have the same standards that we do. You know what I mean? And you ask those questions to everybody, throughout the interview process, because now you got to talk to like 12 people before you even get there. Like, an interview process meal is 3 months now. That's the minimum amount of time you do for an interview process.
I do
So
not. I don't like that. But go on.
you really want to you want to interview them. You know what I mean? You're already selling yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're selling yourself to them as a hard worker. They've already called you. Your foot's already in the door there. You know what I'm saying? So you talk about things that you've done. You talk about things that you've accomplished, and where you would like to grow, and how you would like to grow within that company, and where you'd like to go to. And if that's possible, you ask them what the progression path is like there. What's the is there any personal development opportunities there? You know what I mean? Like, just ask them questions that'll have them on their toes, and be like, yo, he's very, he or she, sorry, I don't want to make it just for men, but like,
Yeah, don't do that.
make it something where it's like, yo, this job is viable, and I would love to be here, but you guys got to answer some stuff for me too. But I would say, in terms of like, I don't want to say bullshit when they ask questions that you're not prepared for, but you should always prepare yourself for, what are some things that you've done before that you failed at, and how did you deal with it? What was a huge campaign or thing that you've worked on, and how did you do it? How do you work well with others? Like, so a lot of this stuff, like, should it'll be common knowledge to you as you do more interviews, but those are like the common questions that I get that throw a lot of people through the loop. But I have like a script. I'm like, yo, I did this here, I did this here, and it did this many numbers. You know what I'm saying? If you got to type up a script for, like, selling yourself and making yourself seem like the greatest, then do that. Like, I run off of a script of like, hey, I was the shit here, because they're not gonna go back and ask. So they're gonna be like, oh shit, it's on his resume. But interviewing really is a lot of it's really kind of like a dance, bro. Like, they're trying to figure you out. You're trying to figure them out, but don't let them kind of control the conversation. And that's what I'd
I,
say.
so my big advice for if you have an interview is, this is probably the biggest. I'll say this because I have tons of things, but probably the biggest thing. Um, Practice saying it out loud to yourself before you get there. And I say this because you practice saying it instead of thinking these things and then getting to the interview and completely stumbling over your words. Actually, practice whether you're in the shower or by yourself or saying it. Like, say it out loud to yourself. Hey, my name is da 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 da. I do this, that, and I've done this, I've done that, I've done that. It will help you with the flow of words way better than if you like overthinking of what you're going to say, and then when you actually try to say it, none of the stuff you were thinking of comes out. So practice that. I tend to practice that when I have interviews, and questions that might throw you for a loop. good lord, because the one thing you don't want to say is I don't know. Um, Even though it might be true, to
You
be
don't
honest
know.
with you.
Sometimes you don't know.
So, yeah, it might be true sometimes, but like realistically, we like try to like swing it back in your favor. You know what I'm saying? I haven't done this, but I have done this. I've done this, which is kind of similar to this, to be honest with you. I mean, they may think you're bullshitting, but realistically, I think you're giving the best answer possible. And you know,
Be real. They know a lot of us are bullshitting. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Let's
Um, so the next one, shout out to DMV fans, shout out to you. Next one comes from JB Great. Shout out to you, Jay. Um, it says, how do you get out of a job that depends on you so much? Can I answer
easy.
this?
Yeah, go
Can
ahead.
I answer this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Leave.
Yeah,
Just go.
there you go. Leave.
Realistically, no job unless
Easy.
it is your personal business. Like unless it's your business that you started from the ground up. Uh, no job. Realistically, and I don't want to say this is be kind of demeaning. You're not bigger than the job, and things will continue. Things started before you and will continue after you.
Yeah,
Realistically.
yeah. They don't need you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I've
Don't say they
seen
don't need you because they probably do need you, but realistically, like they can continue without you and they will replace you at the end of the day.
100%. You're right. Mills is right there. Like they will replace you and not think twice about it if you do something that they don't like. You know what I mean? And I think that's the eye opening thing there is that like it is very easy for them to basically like be like, oh fuck off. You know what I'm saying? Like I get where the I want to say like it's probably like a lot of empathy. And I think that's good to have, especially in a job. It's good to have empathy because you care. He probably cares about the people he works with. You know what I mean? Like the job gets harder for them if he's gone. But I think that that's more of a I mean that's more of a indictment to you to leave because if you leave there, their whole ship, their whole operation blows up. You know what I'm saying? Think about it like that. If I leave here, they can't get the job done correctly. So they need me. So why won't I go somewhere else that might need me and pay me more? You know what I'm saying? So
I absolutely feel like realistically, no job. If a job is depending on you so much and you feel that from the job, I mean, if to be honest with you, do what's best for you. That's kind of like one of my thing at the end of the day. Like if you feel like you really want to leave this job, leave the job. At the end of the day, it's your life. You got to continue your life and do the things that make you happy. But realistically, like no job will ever, unless it's a job that you started, no job will ever need you that much. Or if it's like your dad's job and you're like, even
it's
if it's your
crazy.
dad's job, yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy that we saying this shit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, right, Mills, like our parents would never be candid like that and say that. You know what I'm saying?
No,
They
they'll be
wouldn't.
like,
Our
stay at the fucking job. What's wrong with you? It's good money.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, we and that's the best part, and this question goes into it. Like, we have a choice. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have a choice, and if it's not serving your mental health, get out of there, bro. You know what I mean? If it's not serving you anymore, get the hell out of there. So
There's another question here from Big Tim. Shout out to uh it says, I don't know if this is a thing across other companies, but my job has performance goals that every employee must hit.
hmm
Now, I have no issue with completing the ones I signed for, but the incentive to complete these goals is a raise. Now, there's a bit of an issue with that, though. I've been a part of this company going on 4 years, and I've been in a new department the past 7 months. The company has not given a company wide raise in a decade and claimed they capped off salaries last year. It comes off like mandatory extra credit. So I guess my question will be, what do you do when your employer is demanding you to go beyond your means and complete something when the guaranteed incentive isn't even a guarantee?
that's good. That's a really good one. I think that a job will
Don't
always have the carrot on the stick for you.
right,
And I think that it's unfair it's that carrot happens to be a raise, right? Because at the end of the day, I don't know if this is in other states, it's legal for them to at least have a compensation conversation with you every 12 months with your performance review, right?
right.
So like they should be having this conversation with you without that, unless those KPIs and performance goals are built in and baked into your performance review. I would have a conversation with them about that because you have to get a raise. Like no one should be going for 2 to 3 years without a raise. You know what I'm saying? Like in a substantial one, 3 years at a job, you should be getting at least a substantial bonus. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that having that carrot on the stick is just like it's kind of crazy, and then the moving him around in so many different departments is also crazy. But it also shows that again, he has grace under fire. He's able to change needs as need be. But at the end of the day, what are y'all doing for him? You know what I mean? Again, like we have choices here. Like there's a lot of places he could go, but you guys are
Absolutely.
dangling this carrot. You dangling this carrot in front of him like that. That's fucked up. I didn't know that.
Um, Usually when an employer asks me to go beyond my means, I usually say if I feel the push, I'm the type of person in this situation who like I can only do what I can do. And I'm only going to do what my job requires me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um to ask me to go beyond my means is asking me to do things that require more, to be honest with you. Yeah. And it comes a situation where you have to have a conversation, or you have to have a conversation about like what's actually expected of you and what you can and can't actually do, and just kind of be transparent with them.
Mm-hmm.
um in my experience with some employers, you get pushback from essentially like, we really need to make this happen. This is what you got to do. Blah blah blah. And from there, I start. To be honest, I start looking on LinkedIn and seeing what's going on there. But
I think
I've
that's
been
where a
in
lot
that
of
situation.
these end. A lot of these end with us going on LinkedIn and checking out what's out
Yeah,
there.
on the clock. But realistically, like, yeah, that starts like becoming a very toxic environment, and it can be very detrimental to your own mental health, especially when you have a lot of work and then you're too tired to do anything else and stuff like that. Da, 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 da. Like, realistically, we can only do what we can do. What you can help me do with my in this kind of position, talk to my employer or like supervisor or something. It's like, tell me what you want prioritized, and I'll handle that for sure.
Mhm.
um, but realistically, I can't do everything that you're asking me to, especially stuff that's not within my realm of working. And depending on how they respond, you'll kind of know how they respond. You know your supervisor or manager or anything better than me, but depending on how you respond is how you move accordingly.
Yeah.
It's what I would do.
Good luck.
This is not actual advice. This is like what I would do in this situation.
No, like, but good luck with that though, like, seriously, because
I
it
agree.
it's tricky. That's tricky, like, because if it's not because if they're allowed to do that, within your state, like, I would check to see what your employment rights are, like, out here, you're supposed to legally have a conversation about your compensation and your raises, and if that's not built in or baked in, then there's definitely I don't know if Tim is union or whatever. Like, there's definitely something there for him to be like, okay, then that's not right. I need to be getting compensated fairly. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah.
Um, Next one comes from the name is Bewildered Amazon Dispatcher.
Okay.
Um, Amazon logistics is an absolute mess. I'm confused in how Amazon chooses weekly to monthly charges things. Recently, drivers are scored harder on customer feedback than actually delivering the packages, making sure packages are secured when delivered. We have lost multiple great drivers to suspension because Amazon puts more weight on the customer feedback than if they did their job correctly. It's frustrating and stressful, especially because we can't control customers being honest or assholes. It's goofy AF. So that's not really a question, but
Mhm.
still, it's definitely like a concerning situation where it's like, I guess your job isn't really depending on how well you do your job, but more so the feedback of others. Um,
It's tough because like Amazon's turning their roles into something where it's like it's like debatable if you're doing a good job, and I think that's more ways for them to try and figure out like who we should pay or not. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, I'm saying this with a Amazon show, but I think that's kind of wrong, workers wise.
I agree. Um, Moving on to the next thing. Uh, This one is anonymous. It says, I work for a residential career training program through the DOL. I think that's Department of Labor. There you go.
Yeah, Department of Labor.
Nice. I was going to say learning. Um, through the Department of Labor. And I work through two different campuses doing admissions and outreach. One campus that I'm not hired by has a manager who keeps thinking that he's my boss. Hate those people. He'll ask why certain prospects are taking so long, or will give out bad info like he hasn't been here for 20 years and doesn't know how the process works. Like he doesn't know that background checks can take forever sometimes. He also takes on different projects on center to get the praise, but leaves everything in shambles. I've done outreach and will hear stories about how he's dropped the ball on potential new students. Nigga, worry about the positions you need fill in your department and not what I am doing. Um,
Hey, that's
Damn.
not a question either. He venting. I,
I respect it.
he venting.
Um, I respect it. Yeah, I hate. Listen, you work through the Department of Labor. You're not my boss. Back up, gang. Like that's
Yeah.
what I say.
I just hate like like overbearing people just in general, bro. Like overbearing. Like I hate niggas that love their job so much that they got to do everybody's job.
I think,
You ain't getting first in line for that.
and I also think there's an issue with people who have been at a job for quite some time and really not adapting to kind of like how things work and also refusing to adapt to how things work.
Mm,
Because if you've been here for 20 years and and you know how the process works, like why are you giving my guy a hard time? Like you know
mm,
what I'm saying? Like you know how to you've been through the grind more than anything, but he's probably one of those people who hates when new people come in and act like they know everything and they think they don't know everything and he's just trying to do his job and blah blah blah. So um best of luck to you and my anonymous friend.
good luck, bro. Or sis.
Good luck, person. Um, Antonio Salgado, our guy.
All right. What's up, man? What's going on, bro?
He says may or may not apply to me. You you can't see who I'm looking at on because I'm off camera. Um, are scheduled promotions a trap to get stuck doing two jobs at once for a set period of time?
Yeah.
I've never experienced a scheduled promotion. Can you? All right, I'm actually gonna say this out loud. Um, I've never been at a job where I've got a promotion.
What?
I've never got a promotion at any of my jobs ever. I've gotten more money, but I've never got a promotion. Does that make sense to you?
It makes sense. It makes sense. I would have thought that where you were at. The only reason I'm shocked is because I haven't either. But like, the reason I'm shocked is because
Where
um,
I was working?
where you was working, I would think that you would have. But I haven't
No.
because most of the time for one, I'm never at a job as long as I've been at the job I'm at right now. Um,
Hmm.
so I've never been able to be up for one. But two, I whenever I leave a job, I go up anyway, right? Like I move up through getting a new job. So like I've never gotten promotion just by being at a job. But scheduled promotions are definitely a thing. Every single I think I'm actually up for one next year. I've been where I'm at almost 3 years, if you can believe it, Mills. And
Wow. Look at
yeah,
that.
yeah.
The
And I
first half of our legacy on this pod is certainly different than the second half.
yo, absolutely. But I think that uh they should not be a carrot on the stick for you to be fucking having two separate jobs. I definitely have a conversation with your higher ups about that. But I do think that that model is significant in that it gives you something to work towards, and I don't know if they're able to take those away, if, if you don't meet certain KPIs or goals, but you deserve it. Like I said, like, it's funny that he said this because that's kind of the concept that I was talking about in Tim's situation, where you have to have that conversation during your performance review about whether you're getting a raise or not, because that's what we have every year that I've ever been in a job.
I've never gone through a scheduled promotion. I wish I could help you with this, but yeah, if it seems like a if it seems like a ploy, it usually is. You know what I'm saying? I have been in jobs where I've been in jobs personally where I've been the only person left in the department, and then I get stuck doing everyone in the department's jobs. And then when someone new is hired, I still get stuck doing everyone else's job because that's now the standard. And I try not to be. It's weird to say. I try not to do more than I'm supposed to, which is bad, I guess. But realistically, like I try to be realistic. I'm trying not to do more than I'm supposed to because I people if people can take advantage of you at whatever thing they will absolutely, especially at
Yeah.
work. Free
Yeah.
labor, fuck out of here. Um, but yeah, last one. Actually, last one's got like 3 questions, so maybe we'll speed around this.
Okay.
It comes from JD. It says, number one, how do you stay motivated in the hunt for another job? LinkedIn and Indeed get tiring to look at after a while. Boy, do I agree with you on this. Because when I was looking for a job last year, there are times that I was just like every day. But to be honest with you, I think it's very healthy to take a break every now and then. As much as you want a new job or like hope for a new job or really pushing for a new job, and you're like everything is out there from time to time. Realistically, I think it's healthy. I think I've been in this situation, especially last year, where I knew I was looking for a new job and then like continuously looking. My Everything just became skewed in terms of what I was looking for. Like I was looking for this position and now suddenly I'm looking for this because I'm not hearing back from this and I'm keep
Yeah.
applying every day and day and blah 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 blah. So now I'm applying for all types of bullshit. So I think it's very healthy. Like every now and then, doesn't have to be like, I'm not saying, has to be an extended period of time, but take a break. Um Let more jobs populate and
Mhm.
then, get back to it.
And find a center. Find something that you could do to center yourself, like meditate, do something like, what I'm saying, to take your mind off of it. I know that that's easier said than done. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to minimize any of it, but I find that being alone in your thoughts, and just work, like kind of stressing yourself out about it, it'll make you feel a lot more negative about the process. And I try
Right.
and like stay at the very least optimistic about things, especially as you get on calls or you get, emails back, stuff like that. Like it's such a different world now from like when like people used to like do applications and you can't call them and be like, hey, did you get my shit? You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day, you used to be able to call the job
Used
and be
to
like, hey,
used
did
to used to be able to walk up there and look them in the face and say, did you get my shit?
you
Where
you see
we
that
at with this,
you
Fred?"
see that you see that tweet about the old lady who sent her daughter to get a job
Yeah.
and she was like, "Oh, well, I didn't know that they didn't do paper applications, so I just told her that she learned how to canvas," and people were fucking pile driving her ass.
All the time. Um, Let me see. Second one says, how do you set boundaries, raise concerns from managers and coworkers without coming across as the angry black man in the workplace?
That's a deeper question than like I feel like we could. There is no to be short. There is no solvent for that because I think that we all inherently don't want to. We all don't want to. We all are cognizant of the fact that we may sound like that regardless of what we do or say. And even me yesterday, just for example, like yesterday, I have a badge at work and my badge wasn't working. And it's embarrassing enough that your badge doesn't work. You have to wait outside the security office and talk to them because it feels like I don't dress like a lot of people that, you know what I'm saying, that I go to work with. So it already looks like I'm kind of like an outsider. So I had to call my boss and be like, yo, like there's something going on in the security office. And like at one point I was like, man, I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. Why am I sorry? It's not my fault, it's their fault. You know what I'm saying? And he checked me. He was like, no, 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 what are you sorry about? He was like, it's their fault. They're gonna fix it. You didn't do anything wrong. If anything, they're inconveniencing you. And
Right.
that part stuck out to me. They're inconveniencing you. You know what I mean? So I would say like don't be afraid to say what you have to say and don't apologize about it. You know what I mean? So it's tough. It's tough.
I set boundaries from the beginning. So no one ever gets messed up about where my boundaries lie. I don't think I need to be angry about it. I think I do need to be firm about it. I think there's a way to communicate your boundaries without it coming off as like either angry black man or thing. But there's definitely a way to communicate your boundaries of saying like, hey, actually, like, this is that. Now, if you want me to do this, usually you got to come back with a quip of like, hey, now if this is kind of what you want, then maybe we could work on that or talk about that or something along those lines. But like, I make sure to set my boundaries pretty hard. Um, and yeah, it's a, you know, if people don't like it, I mean, that's on them. These are my boundaries.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Um, Last one, he says, how do you tweak your resume? I hear so often use these words instead. How I tweak my resume? I've been rolling with remixed versions of my resume for the past 10 years.
Yeah, I got my friend Lauren to write mine, so I actually don't know
Oh, I've
the
been,
best way.
yeah, I have multiple resumes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I have multiple resumes.
You got the 2022 one and the 2021 version.
Yeah, no, I got pretty much like I've been running it for like the last number of years. I got this, I got one for this type of job that I want, I got one for this type of job that I want. Um, how do you tweak your resume? That's a good ass question, man. I would go to someone who professionally does resumes. Have someone look at your resume, by the way, someone in the field that you're applying for or that you really, really want, and say, look at this resume, and they'll usually tell you like how to tweak it for the job you want. Some people say put the job description in the resume, so when they search it up, when the algorithm searches it up, you'll be able to find it. I don't know about that, but um, I tweak it every now and then, and yeah, I get it done. But yeah, that's the end of office hours, man. Thank you guys for
Good
all your
episode.
questions.
Good episode. If you didn't
Good.
want to listen to any of this, just skip ahead. I'll put a timestamp.
Well, too bad. I feel like this is information that they need, but yes. Um, are you ready to jump into No Holds Barred? Because we kind of got some news this week. Not too crazy news, um, but we got some news this week.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you heard of our guy, Randall Keith Orton, and the status of where he's kind of at in his career? It was most recently reported, Randy Orton's dad did a podcast, which is like
Too many podcasts.
I don't know if he owns one, but he very well could own one, to be honest with you. I don't know if he owns one, but he definitely did a podcast this week and kind of talked about it, gave us an update on Randy Orton, and pretty much Randy was like his dad essentially said that like his doctors have advised him to no longer wrestle. And I think everyone is now exploring the mortality of like, could this be the end of the career for Randy Orton? What say you about this entire situation, sir?
I wouldn't. I honestly wouldn't hold much stock in that because his dad is not him. His dad's not him. You know what I mean? I think that it should be up to Randy how he wants to end his story. And if he feels as though he shouldn't be able to do it, then like he shouldn't. But I think that like Randy should definitely be listening to the doctors, and they should come to bring him to a realization that he needs to like stop. I think that like with wrestlers, they always there's always that one more, right? There's always one more match that they want to do, right? And with Randy Orton, it's like I think of him and I'm like, what more could Randy Orton do? He's done everything. He's literally done everything. So if this is it, I would hope that from what he's been able to create and build. I feel like when he last year before he left, he was in the best stretch of his career. He was having fun. He looked like he enjoyed what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? So if that's where he wants to end off it, I don't think there's a I don't think that's a bad thing.
I think, to be honest, if Randy Orton's career ended, he's got a bomb ass career. Like he's lit. Um, I am concerned, like how many more RKO's he can actually pull off. You know,
On his back, yeah.
when you think of his back, when you think of his shoulder, when you think of everything that's been ailing him over the last like decade and a half, it all kind of points to the RKO. To be
Mhm.
honest with you, um, because to be honest with you, Randy Orton is not a high risk worker at all. There was jokes at the beginning of his career that he used the wrist lock, the headlock way
Good luck.
too much,
Yeah.
and So nothing about this like points to anything except just like been doing this for years, and then maybe also the RKO. Um, so if there's a world where Randy Orton, maybe the doctor is like, maybe you should stop doing the RKO. I honestly don't want to live in that world where Randy Orton cannot use an RKO. It's the most, to be honest with you, when you talk about the Stone Cold Stunner, the RKO may be the most popular wrestling finish of all time, bar
The
none.
people gonna come out, they're gonna say, "The one winged angel."
I wish they would. I wish they would.
The one winged angel.
It's a no. The RKO is legendary. It is amazing. It is incredible. You know what? I agree with you though. In the beginning, I'm not listening to his dad. No
Yeah,
offense. I'm pretty sure his dad got good intel, or can get better intel than us. But realistically, you kind of want to hear this from Randy Orton's mouth, and Randy Orton usually is not shy about anything. Now I know his wife posted something earlier. Hold on. Where can I find is it Kim Orton?
yeah,
What are we looking at? Kim Orton. Hold on, let me see. Let me find this. Let me see where this was aggregated. I got a fly in my room. This is the most annoying. Like if you hear the mic just go boom, like it's because I'm trying to hurt
What did Kim say?
this. Kim said a man is more than what he does for a living.
Oh yeah. She talking to him, but she talking to us.
She talking to us, but she talking to him. She talking to him, but she talking to us. She talking to him, but she talking to us.
Yeah, that
Um,
must have had an argument.
but you can't. I got to. I'm Randy Orton. I knew wrestling before I knew you. Um, no, but listen, she's got a podcast. I think.
Why does she
I'm
have a
sure.
podcast?
I feel like she has a podcast. Don't they have like a wrestling wives kind of thing? Like a little podcast
Her
thing.
and Brandy and
And then Giovanna Angle and all types of other stuff like that.
who is
Um,
who is the who is the Drea of Wrestling Wives? It's got to be Brandy, right?
it's got to be Brandy. Drea, though? Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's Brandy.
You thinking of looks? I'm thinking of fucking. But Brandy's a beautiful woman, though.
Brandy is a beautiful woman. What are we talking about?
I know what you think. I know where you go. You was thinking of looks.
I was thinking of, how much
Nah,
drama has Brandy got in, but I'm like, she's done her share. Um, Listen, until we hear it from Randy, this could be right. Don't get me wrong. It could be right, but I'd rather hear it from Randy Orton himself.
same.
And I would love for Randy Orton to come back at some point. Boom. Another news article. Bray Wyatt,
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Howdy. Where they at though?
Does anyone care? I feel like they. I feel like it was like a. It was like that was fun, and then everyone
That
moved
was,
on.
that's the end of that. I think we all had a good time with that. Um, According to Pro Wrestling Insider earlier this Monday, reported that former WWE champion Bray Wyatt is no longer listed on WWE's internal roster. And it led people to believe that the wrestler may no longer be with the companies. But then, according to Fightful, the internal roster PWI omitted Wyatt due to his current inability to take part in storylines due to his health. Yo, the whole internet was in a tizzy. And then Fightful was essentially like, he's not on the roster because he's not able to work.
Yeah,
Like,
he's hurt.
he's hurt or something of the rather. Um, it's a listen. I mean, I'm not really pressed on where Randy Bray Wyatt is anyway, or Uncle Howdy.
I got no words. I really have no words. I feel as though the return was pretty much an abject failure. Other than that moment, you got the moment. He'll always have that. He will always have that moment. But I feel like just in terms of in terms of that return. It was flat. It fell flat, and I just think that we're seeing, you know, what Bray Wyatt is, and you know, you can love him as much as you want to, but it just did not hit the way that it should have hit.
No, it didn't. Um, then we heard. I think we heard a week ago that Bray Wyatt was assigned a new writer.
Well, and that's my thing. He get the special treatment like crazy. Nobody else gets this type of treatment.
Hey man, you got to write for this man. Man, we're making movies out here. Got to have special writers. You know what I'm saying? Bring in the big guys, the continuity writers, the Calvins of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like those type of people who who are just focuses making sure that this all works out.
Mm-hmm. I,
Um,
I feel like they should focus on people that don't need to have their a new writer next week.
this is very true. I mean, very very true.
We'll never figure
Um,
out what Uncle Howdy was about. I think that's my biggest hate about all of this. We'll never figure out the ballad of Uncle Howdy.
until Bray Wyatt and his brothers start the eventual podcast, the the
I don't.
rotunda
Uh-uh.
rotunda table.
They shouldn't complain about nothing.
Hey man, listen. Hey,
I
what you
think
gonna
that's the
do?
one thing Vince might be kicking his feet up and saying, "Well, see, he hitting the Shannon Sharp. See, look."
Let's see what else we got here. Seth Rollins filming Captain America and New World Order. How do you feel about that? Seth
I mean,
Rollins getting the bag.
if you look at what Marvel's doing bag wise, I don't know if it's a great bag,
Well, okay.
uh,
I knew this was coming
but
easily. I was like, that's why. That's the only reason why I set this up.
ain't it crazy that he got there before Roman did?
This is very true. I mean, maybe Roman's in DC.
That'd be good too. I mean, they're coming back.
Yeah,
They,
listen,
they're
maybe
making
he's in DC.
they're making a run right now.
Okay, well, listen, maybe Roman's over there. Maybe it's the wars continue, just in a different kind of way.
I'm all
Um,
for wrestlers getting a bag. I'm all for them, expanding. Like Seth should be great in this role. Let's just be
right.
honest. He can memorize roles and he can memorize lines. He'll be fine. I think he looks cool. He looks like you said it on Twitter. He looks like he fits. He looks like he would be cool. I can't wait to see what he's doing in the movie.
I can't wait either. He does look cool. Let's see. So tomorrow or tonight, if you're listening to this on public for everybody, shout out to you guys. Shout out to the patrons as well. We gotta do Patreon shout outs. We gotta do that next week. We gotta bring that back. Gotta give a shout out to the patrons. Shout out to everyone who signed up recently too.
Mhm.
Um, tomorrow we find out the deal of what this AEW news thing is, man. We find out
Yeah.
what's going on, how much M's or B's?
I'm not even gonna dignify that one.
No, no B's. No, 1 billion.
What make you think that they deserve a billion?
I was listening to, of course, Alvarez, who
Who
thinks
created
that
the rumor? The rumor created on his board. Go ahead.
who essentially said that he believes that WWE put out this rumor. So when AEW definitely gets lower, it's cited as a disappointment.
It started in their message board from someone who is a huge AEW fan, and they found this guy's posts from the past. They found his posts. Like he has
what
been
what else did he say?
he's been an AEW show from time forever, right? And
Absolutely.
he says this. Then says, "Don't quote me on this." So it's like, no, you absolutely are going to get quoted on this, and you guys can't say that you guys did. It didn't originate from where you guys basically lay your heads at.
AEW's trying to get money. Rampage is on all types of new lows. They've been moving. Rampage been moving to all types of different things. You know what's crazy part about this? I don't know. Some got to be done. With Rampage.
Some got to be done with
Rampage.
all of it. They gotta. I feel like they gotta put Rampage out of its misery at this point. I don't think it should be a show where lesser used talents need to go. I think it needs to be a show that's not on air right now because I feel like it's not. It's not generating any type of profit for these people. It can't be. Other than finding a place for them to put commercials on on a random Saturday night when it gets preempted by the fucking NBA playoffs.
I mean, the preemptions is going to come to an end. This is the final round of NBA playoffs where it'll be on TNT. So they'll have their times back. They're going to get it right back in time for June. So all their CM Punks. You know, they brought back Miro the other day. It's Rusev Day once again. How
It's
you
not
feel about
Rusev.
that?
It's not Rusev.
Miro? No, Miro came back to work. It's like, Miro, you got the perfect plan for you. Saturdays. Thunder Rosa came back.
Said also we're gonna fly you in on Wednesday to open a door and shut it, and then we won't explain what happened.
Saturdays. Thunder Rosa came back. Who knows what she'll be doing? Apparently, according to reports, she's still not cleared.
In the bathroom,
Um,
hiding.
according, according to reports, Britt Baker should be cleared neither. She's got a back issue.
It won't
But
stop
hey,
her.
world stops when the world stops when Shayna Baszler. I mean, not Shayna Baszler. Britt Baker continues to do things. One last thing before we get into, of course, the weekly shows. I kind of want to talk about NXT a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think we're headed with NXT? What's the direction for the show now that we've got some call ups? Clearly, we're steeped in this Braun Breaker Carmelo Hayes feud. They've introduced a lot of new talent. Do you think, I mean, NXT is one of those brands that it never stays the same for a long period of time. It constantly goes through a flux of new talent coming in and this. Have you seen anything that you feel like is promising from the NXT brand?
Well, NXT's in an interesting spot, and I think I've mentioned this on our post Mania episode about how I felt about Stand and Deliver and how they're trying to. This is a brand that is trying to kind of restart itself in lieu of a lot of things that are happening. They've lost a good chunk of some of their women's talent. They've lost some vets. They've lost some people who've been there for a while. They lost, in my opinion, one of the guys on that show that was giving the best matches anytime he was out there, and JD McDonough. I feel like they lost a big guy there on the men's and in the men's division. Obviously they still have guys that can work there, Dijak, Ilya, all of them, but it is an interesting spot because they also have injuries as well. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of women that are out, and I think that is, to me, the biggest challenge that they're gonna have is making whoever wins that title at their latest pay-per-view look legitimate. You know what I mean? So I think in terms of where it's going, you're not escaping the Melo Braun thing. We're just not going to be able to. Who is it benefiting right now? I think it's benefiting Braun a lot more to me than it's this benefiting Melo. I think Melo being off TV, all that stuff, like I think that's cool, but I honestly also feel like Trick kind of benefits too. I thought him and Braun had a pretty good match the other week. I thought that Trick showed up. I thought it was good.
I mean, I think he's had a better. I think this was probably his better match, but I still think he's got. I think just his positioning in all of this feels like. I mean, he is a sidekick, but yeah, I don't know. It's just weird to me. But I thought NXT. My thing is, I watched NXT for the first time in a couple of weeks on last Wednesday. I was like, oh, they got some stuff going on here, but realistically, I'm like, whoa, we are in not uncharted territory, but clearly there's another. We're flipping the page again on this brand. The I think we're going to notice more. I mean, Braun and Melo, I think they're closer to the end of their tenure than the beginning of their tenure. Obviously, even
Honestly, I feel like they're in the middle of their tenure.
you think so?
Yeah, I'm gonna be real.
You think we got another 2 years of this?
It's another year. It's another
Okay.
year. I think that listen, the fact that Grayson of all of those 4 or 5 people, the men on that division that were there, it was Braun, Grayson, Tony D'Angelo, Mello, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vaughn And Vaughn and Grayson were the only people that they brought up. That is an indictment of how they feel about where these other guys are. That is an indictment that there is still a lot of work to be done in the oven there, and that they're I won't say they're not happy, but they're not really impressed with what they're seeing over a Grayson Waller.
Right.
That is a heavy indictment to what's going on down there. He got called up and nobody else. I mean, obviously Cameron Grimes should have been gone. He's actually been off their TV for like six months or something like that. Like he's been gone for a minute anyway. But
We'll
like,
talk about him in a minute. We'll talk about
yeah,
him
we
in a minute.
will,
Yeah.
we will. But I think that in terms of where they look at it, I honestly wouldn't see them drafting any other guys or girls for a while. With what they have out there, there are people down there that need a lot more time. They need a lot of time, Mills, and I think that Braun and Mello definitely do. I don't think they've gone a long way in fixing what they kind of broke during that title match a month ago, but I think that they're going a long way in showing that they're trying to define what Mello is and what Braun is. I don't know if trying to get sympathy on Mello is the way that I would do it, but they're definitely trying something. I think in terms of the women, I'm gonna wait and see on that because I got to see who wins the title. You know what I mean? I would hope that they would just give Tiffany Stratton the title, but she's not really like a ring general yet. She's very much still like a work in progress. So if they give it to Roxanne, right, it makes me think, why did you have her drop it in the first place? Why did you even have her show up and stand and deliver if you were just gonna make her a 2-3 time champ at this point? This
I
makes no sense.
think I really do think actually they're probably going to give it to Tiffany. I don't know. They're just something like if this is how she learns how to swim, this is just how she's gonna do. But to me, she's like really she's the point in the middle that everything kind of like orbits around or has the opportunity to be that for the rest of the roster. I think she's someone who can talk. I think she's someone who can work to an extent. I think if you ask her to get to the next level and push herself to do that, I think she can do that. Actually, no, I might think that could the finals be Cora versus Roxanne? I think it could be, right?
No, I think they're gonna swerve. I think they're gonna swerve.
Because I could also
That
see Cora getting it too.
I could
I
see
mean,
Lyra. I could see Lyra beating Cora and Tiffany. Who's supposed to? Who's because the thing is, I think
It's Cora versus Fallon Henley,
mhm,
and
Lyra versus
Roxanne
Jane.
versus JC Jane.
I could
Uh,
see. I don't. I think it's gonna end up. I think Lyra and Tiffany are gonna end up being the finals.
no, but Tiffany's not in it anymore.
Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, it showed the is this the quarterfinals? No, not the semifinals. My bad. So tomorrow night is Cora versus JC. Cora
Yeah,
versus Fallon, and then Roxanne versus Thing. I could see an opportunity where Cora takes it. And the only reason why I say that is because she's been there quite some time.
they want to give it
Like
to another heel.
this is what they do.
I just think that it's time for a bit. You had a chance to have a babyface champion that could run with that belt for a while. It's something that hasn't been done in quite some time on that brand. You had Mandy with this title for a whole year.
They
That's what
just
I'm
had
saying.
two.
Like it's just confusing what they're gonna because even if you give it to Tiffany Mills, that's another heel with that title, and she's gonna have it for a minute. You know what I mean? Like I have to think that, and to your point with Tiff, what you said about Tiffany, I think Lyra is also that too. She's clearly as talented as Roxanne is, not better.
Lyra don't do it for me. I don't know why. She
But
just doesn't.
she's good. She's good.
I agree she's good, but I think there's just something that doesn't do it for me as of
Her
yet.
present, well, she has the best presentation to me in terms of all of these ladies there.
The Big
I haven't
Bird, yes.
I haven't been in love with Tiffany's since she's came back. I haven't been in love with the whole change that they've done with her since she's come back. I haven't been in love with the way they've made Gigi look. I haven't been in love with the way they made JC look. I think that they
Well,
really need.
Gigi does that to herself because she's actually pretty bad.
I
Like
didn't
she
get
was,
her. I don't get her. I miss being Priscilla Kelly thing either. I was like, well okay. Why don't you make this work first?
yeah, weirdo. But it is what it is. Um, NXT is definitely we got some NXT call ups on the show. This is what I want to kind of transition to for SmackDown. So NXT is going through its transition, and SmackDown is also going through a transition. To be honest with you, it's feeling like 2021 in this bitch. Like it's feeling. SmackDown felt good on
So
Friday. Like
fun. To its point, I think that both shows did a lot to not only broadcast and present their new draftees, but also the people who've switched shows. There's just a completely different way that they're approaching it. Like, you know, uh certain people didn't show up on SmackDown acting the same way they was acting on Raw. And I appreciate it.
Right.
And the same for people who were SmackDown, they weren't acting the same way. And I'll get to that on Raw, but I think it was more pronounced on Raw, just how different shit was. But SmackDown had a lot of really cool looks there on Friday. And I think one of the biggest ones was Cameron Grimes and the way he was presented against Baron Corbin. I thought that went a long way to legitimize him. You showed off his cool ass finisher. He got to beat somebody annoying in like seconds, and then he's gonna move on to something else.
Now, I think, to be honest with you, if I had to say why they did it, I think they were strapped for time easily.
He's gonna
I
get a rematch.
think
Yeah,
Yeah, he's gonna get a rematch. So I think overall they're strapped for time. This was a pretty big SmackDown with a lot of matches promoted. They had at least 3 matches with world title implications. They had a tag team title match, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. They had Roman Reigns, which gets his own 20-minute segment, and then Bianca Belair also has to be a star in the show as well. So there was a lot going for them. So I knew off rip that this match was going to be quick. I didn't know it was going to be one move, one and done. And
it
clearly
really
Baron Corbin has given up trying, because when he showed up on Monday in the man one shorts and
he got
them sneakers.
he got to step into the role. He has to step into the role. He has to know, you know, it's not where you're at right now. You know what I mean? You
I
got to
also think Baron has to rise to the occasion. I think he's been coasting kind of like off of like being this great guy who can garner heat, but I've never felt like he's leveled up in any sense in a number of years. So I think it's a case of maybe the roster passing him by. I think he needs a little bit more fire in his thing as well. Um, do we want to? Where do we want to attack on SmackDown first? The triple threats,
let's do the triple threats.
okay.
There were 2 triple threats. I was interested in how they were going to do this. Obviously, they did it the same way. They ended up doing it the same way that Raw did it, where they had one that was clearly a lot longer than the other. And that was the first one between AJ Styles, Edge, and Rey Mysterio. They thought they turned the clock back. They said, "Nigga, it's 2002 again. We working." There's a lot of work going on in this match. A lot of really cool stuff in the beginning, and a lot of really good stuff when the match picked up at the end, like the 619 counters, the Hurricane Ranas that Ray was doing. These guys have really good chemistry, and I'm shocked that we're probably never going to do this again. But this was such a fun match to do, and it looked like they were having a blast too.
Edge was trying out some young some young
Yeah.
boy shit, and I'm like, y'all 3 old ass 40-year-olds. Calm it down. Ain't nobody doing all springboard sunset flip into German suplex thing. I'm like, this is not PWG. You can
It didn't look
slow it down,
bad.
man.
It didn't
Nah,
look
it ain't look
bad.
bad. It ain't look bad. But I'm just saying, like, yo, stay in your lane. You know what I'm saying? A little
Yeah.
bit. Just a little bit.
So we got after
Because the
that.
match ended weird. The match ended weirdly, is what I'm saying. Like, I think Edge forgot that there was a human Rey Mysterio come and attack him, and just
Yeah,
didn't spear him.
it looked like Edge like wasn't ready. So like it looked like Ray was trying like a DDT. It looked like, and Edge
No,
didn't.
he was trying to go for the splash off the top for some reason, while Edge had to stand up, and Edge completely forgot that he was supposed to spear him in midair. So he
Yeah.
just runs right into Edge, and then they're like, "He speared him, kind of."
Hey man, old man brain.
See, that's what I'm telling you, man. I was trying to remember too many spots. You know what I'm saying?
We get the next triple threat right after that. Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory versus Sheamus. I will tell you this right now. I think it's time to get the title off Austin Theory.
Amen.
It's a prop.
Amen. First of all,
It's a prop.
beyond that as well, it is 100% a prop for sure.
It's doing nothing for him. I think that him being in the I'll put my hand up right now. I'll raise my hand for this right now. Cameron Grimes needs to take it off him. Cameron Grimes needs to take it off of him. He's a guy that's new. He can fucking take losses. He can, you know what I'm saying, he can fulfill some type of utility, but he needs to get that. Theory should clearly go somewhere else. It's really weird they put him on the show with a guy like Roman who's not going to be beat. So like you firmly slotted him into the mid card here.
I don't know, man. This is just, Theory is just his own separate thing, and I don't know. It's just very, very strange. But shout out to Bobby Lashley for wrestling with that big ass knot on his head because he got busted open the hard way. Um, and still finished the match. So he wins this match. AJ wins the first match. Um, should we just like get to the finals and just
Yeah,
call for that?
let's get to the finals. I thought the match wasn't as good as the first one, but I still thought it was pretty cool. AJ and Lashley, have they done this yet?
I
And
feel like they have. Well, no, actually, I'm not sure. Maybe in TNA.
they
I'm
were
not actually even sure about that neither.
they were working like some really cool spots here. That really interesting counter to the Hurt Lock from AJ that we haven't seen before. A different type of David versus Goliath match in a lot of ways, and I think it was Lashley's. I'm going on a limb here, and I'll say it right now. I thought it was Lashley's best match in a really long time.
I think so as well. I think a new opportunity gives them a little bit fresh. So they have done AJ versus Bobby actually quite a number of fucking times.
It ain't like this though. It won't like this. I'll say it
No,
like
it
this.
wasn't like this. No, it wasn't like this with the stakes on the line.
Yeah,
Um, I like the match. I like I mean, I think I could have went with Edge winning this because of that. Listen, who knew an Instagram promo could change it all around for him?
yeah,
That boy was working off the clock. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? And he got to the point where he convinced me. He was like, you know what? Just give it to Edge. Just give it to this man. All he wanted is one more run. He on his Christian shit right now. He just
Nah,
wants one more run.
nah. I think you got to have like you got to remember AJ and Seth have only done this one time,
Yeah,
one time. And even though I was saying last week too, I say, hey, it should be Edge and Seth for the callbacks. I get why they went. Here's my thing too. You can't go wrong with either of these options. You just can't. It's going to be a really good match either way.
mm-hmm.
But I think you get a difference between, you know, a Edge that could really be putting somebody else over here, and an AJ Styles that could potentially take a loss or win it. You know what I mean? I feel like Edge shouldn't be taking losses like that right now. If he's gonna
I
think, if
agree.
he's thinking about hanging it up, um, it's gonna be great. I think that AJ coming back, I gotta give him a right now. I gotta give him an A. I think he's looked good since he's come back. He looks healthy. He looks rested, and he's been moving a lot better than he was before he got hurt last winter.
He is ready to be world champion again. And yeah, looks like not sure if they'll go with it considering all the implications, but to be honest with you, shit apparently don't matter because we got Bianca's title celebration on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
She's the longest reigning women's champion. I'm ignoring the belt is red, but she is the longest reigning women's champion.
What are they doing with that?
Bruh, I'm just ignoring the belts thing because at this point they know it. We're not dumb, and we know that they're not dumb. So they know that the belt things aren't correct, but they'll figure it out when they're supposed to figure it out. Triple H will have some shit. I think he's probably waiting for some press conference and be like, um, we've seen the title situation on both shows, and you know, I
I
think
think
this is a great opportunity for her. But oh damn! All right, go ahead.
But do they want to
No,
keep that? Do they want to keep that title on her so she can also cross the line for the Raw title? And I think that's probably why they haven't done it yet.
I have no idea. Why the hell would they do that?
Just for lineage's sake. I don't know. I'm just making. I'm just thinking.
Yeah. So Asuka's a new contender. Asuka's fully healed. She can spit in the girl's face at her own damn celebration in her own hometown.
That felt like that was cut for time too. By the way,
Yeah, no, I can definitely see it.
Roman
And
definitely
also,
went long.
yeah. Well, listen, it's Roman. Got to talk about it. Roman there. This is the first time Roman's been seen since the night after WrestleMania, and he pulls up and he says, "So you just thought we weren't going to talk about how you guys lost the title to WrestleMania?"
I said, yeah, because that was a fucking month and a half ago. Yeah, I thought we were gonna leave it alone.
And then you get the rematch, and you dedicate it to me.
I'm not
Me.
that guy.
I'm not even a tag team company. I'm the greatest singles champion that's ever existed. We have legendary tag teams in our family. And you dedicate the tag team title win to me? This was a very. I mean, I could see why it went off. It clearly went off script, so I'm pretty sure he just took whatever fucking time it is. Um. So now we have firmly established
Yes.
that at Night of Champions, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will defend their unified tag team championships, but it will not be against the Usos. It will be against Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa.
And I
I
immediately
smiled.
I clutched my goddamn heart. I said, "This nigga can't get all the belts, can he?"
he says, "I'm gonna get all the belts." That's exactly what he said in that promo. I'm gonna have all the belts. You know, he gonna hold the belts, and it's just gonna be like one draped over, two draped over his bicep, and then two. He gonna have the photo shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna look crazy. It's
Some
gonna look nuts.
I saw people saying they're undermining the draft, and I said, "How are they undermining the draft when the tag champions are the champions of both shows, and it has been firmly established even before the draft?" So were y'all mad that KO and Sammy were on different shows and they were tag team champions before the draft? Was that
I
a
mean,
problem? No one
well,
even brings that. No one brings up that point that these two were on different shows before they won the titles.
but it was a soft thing beforehand. We're in the hard brand split era. Like we're
The,
here.
the titles
This
didn't hard change.
Listen, we're in the hard brand split era. Okay, I understand what they're talking about, but here's the thing: it doesn't really matter. They can go on both shows.
Who
It's
gives
it's
a
not a
shit?
big. Yeah, who the fuck cares?
I don't care.
Um, but
I
I don't
love
know.
Jay's reaction. I love Jay's reaction to not only grabbing Jimmy and saying like you need to chill, but also when Roman announces the match, Jay's face is like, "Oh, what?" He like spins around like, "Nah." like at this point it's like what's going to be the powder keg that sets it off, because it looks to me, Meals, like Roman Summer is less about his title defenses and more about the implosion of the bloodline from what it looks like.
He getting them 1,000 days,
Yep.
and when he get them 1,000 days, he's gonna be wrestling for the tag team championships.
Chill, bro.
What a world we live in.
Nigga can't get he can't get all of them, right?
He can and he will. He can and he will. I don't know if this is a Kurt Angle situation. Remember Kurt Angle in TNA when he won all the titles? What a ridiculous concept that was.
Shit, bro.
Um,
I hope not.
but he's
I
Roman
hope
Reigns.
I fucking
Um, Another quick points from SmackDown before we move on to Raw. Um, of course, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez successfully defended the titles against Damage Control. Liv Morgan got injured in the match,
mhm.
which is why she's not there on Monday. And then saw Pretty Deadly schmucking it up backstage with the Brawling Brutes. Looks
Yep.
like a good direction for the future.
They
So
have a match next week. Brawling Brutes versus Pretty Deadly. It's going to be Ridge and Butch against them.
you love a good British fight.
Yeah.
Let's head to Monday Night Raw.
Yep. Starts off with a really fiery promo from Sami Zayn about finishing the fight against Roman Reigns. Very
He's tired of
interesting.
this nigga.
Very interesting and very cool that even though Sammy and KO are still connected with Cody, they have pretty much left him to kind of handle the Brock thing. So the bloodline thing still they still not fucking with them. So like I'm glad that they're leaving it to these two against Roman and Solo right now as Cody takes care of the Brock problem. The Judgment Day comes out, which leads to a very interesting dichotomy. And I guess we could talk about this show. This is a basically carried the show, most of the show here, but the dichotomy between Sammy and KO against Judgment Day, and now Imperium. Imperium and Gunther returned on the show this week, and they were all over the show this week, walking through the locker room area, talking to everybody, taunting everybody. Gunther cut a promo. He was out there like Gunther was working, and the presentation they had with him was so much different. Like I said earlier, like people didn't show up from SmackDown acting the same way. Gunther was acting like he ran the show already when he showed
But
up on Raw.
here's the thing for SmackDown, unless you're the Bloodline, you really can only have one segment. But on Raw, you have to fill 3 hours at some fucking way. So we're gonna get these multiple segments with these multiple people all the time. Listen, we got a 2-segment Dominic Mysterio and Xavier Woods match. They got to
Yeah,
fill time on this damn show.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's fully clear. Um, it's
What do you
I
think of
mean,
the like? Because this would of course lead to a main event match later on the show between Sammy and KO versus Finn and Damian Priest of the Judgment Day. Judgment Day all over the show. Also, by the way, this seems to be they are like the bloodline, for lack of a better comparison, on this show against them. But with Paul Heyman appearing on the show and cutting a deal with Imperium, who Sammy and KO also have a match with next week, but also having a relationship with the Judgment Day, and you now have not only the bloodline that Paul Heyman is kind of puppet mastering from the inside, but also Judgment Day and Imperium, who also have a connection with them as well.
yeah. Well, listen, you tying it together. They making it make sense somehow, right?
Yeah, I think that it's dope in that. At what point does one of these teams say, you know what, fuck this shit, we want the titles from Roman? You know what I'm saying? I think that's a cool angle that you could go with, but also it sets up in Triple H. This is a faction guy. So you're already seeing it here. He loves factions. He had the Undisputed Era in NXT. He had the Way in NXT. He loves these faction characters and putting characters in factions. This could lead to something really dope, but I think that again, stacking the deck against Sammy and KO, and to a certain extent Riddle, because he was involved with Imperium during the IC title battle royal, is something that I thought was really cool, and it's tying a lot of people together. And I'm willing to let this play out because I think it's cool. I know a lot of people felt the way about Sammy and KO losing, but I have to say this right now: it took like 6 people to beat them.
Here's the thing, though. It's not so much about KO and Sammy losing to me. It's about Judgment Day winning all
Huh?
the fucking time. Judgment Day's pretty damn strong.
You don't say that about the Bloodline.
I say that about the Bloodline every time. We talk about Solo Sikoa winning every damn match 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
My thing is that I feel like at some point, not to say that, of course, we're setting them up to be tag team title things, but I'm like, bro, other than Bad Buddy, they can't take no L's. Like, I feel like we don't necessarily have to do 50-50 booking with this thing, but I don't think we need to do things where it's like the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens just took an L 2 weeks ago at fucking
Backlash.
yeah. Because
No.
niggas, they not even fucking. I mean, I guess Solo Sikoa is gonna be in the damn match,
Yeah,
but
that I mean, it all tied together. Here's my thing. I get what you're saying
sure.
about Judgment Day. It's not a bad. Well, they pretty much like are you're setting up your top. And this was also an Undisputed Era issue too. I will say this. They always won, but I think that you set up a really good top heel stable so that when they finally lose, it means something, which matters, and especially with Imperium. You just had 2 of those guys. You had Kaiser and Vinci lose last week anyway, so like they've already kind of handled that. But like it took them 6 people though, Meals. It wasn't just Judgment Day that was fucking around with them, because they would have won had Imperium not showed up.
I feel you.
It's
I'll
all about
lipo.
the it's
I'll
all
hit the
about
lipo on it.
yeah, hit the lipo on it. I because the thing is like
Um,
you got to set up the the doubt. They got to set up the doubt. And to be honest though, Mills, like they've looked fairly strong by beating the Usos twice at this point. They beat the Usos twice.
okay.
Clean
Sure.
in the
Okay.
middle of the ring. So
All right.
I'm a Drewski hand it and just be like, okay, I mean, listen, they beat no one was beating the Usos and no one has. And they beat them twice. So
All right.
um
All right.
Shinsuke Nakamura versus The Miz. I like this. This is a good match. What are you sorry for? This was good.
I am I'm very by the way, that was me dropping something.
What?
You know what I'm about to ask.
No, I don't.
All right, so what are we doing with the Miz?
Nothing. He's in the Baron
Why-
Corbin spot. Know your role.
No, no,
Yes. Know your role.
no, no,
Know your fucking
no,
role. Know your
no,
role.
bro.
Know your role. Put the nigga with
No.
in this year, nigga. I don't care.
No, what?
Nakamura look
All
great.
right. See, now now here's the disrespect came in, which is what I was afraid of. Nigga said end this year. Come on now.
Why not?
Put him in, I don't know. I don't know.
Why not? He looked good. He looked good. The
Everyone
skull
looks
crusher
good. It's the Miz, baby.
skull crusher finale pinfall tease was really I bid on
Of
that one.
course, man.
I bid on that one. I bid.
Mizuchika Okada, bro. Like, I get it, but
At least you finally said the name right.
listen, it's a made up name. I can say it however I want to. Um,
Oh man.
all right, whatever. No, I feel it. Shinsuke, I like Shinsuke, so it is what it is. But like, I'm gonna start like I'm gonna have to be tuning out of Miz segments. Ain't nothing going on.
All right,
Not even a doubt.
you tuned out of less. I bet you tuned out of the fucking battle royal, which was really good.
I did not because I gave Raw the first hour. I said you got 1 hour to wow me before I put you in PIP.
I give them the full 3.
No,
I do.
I gave them 1 hour and then I put them in PIP.
I give them the full 3. Well, I've got to talk about it.
No, of course I know, but that's gotta
This
put
was
in
good.
PIP.
This was good. I thought that they went a long way in establishing 2 people here. One of them being well, shit, 3 really, because you had the Riddle stuff, you had the Gargano stuff, but really more than anything, the 3 that stuck out to me was JD McDonough, um, obviously Mustafa Ali, who would end up winning the match, and I thought that I'm trying to like look at my notes right now. I thought that fucking big guy,
Bronson,
yeah, yes, him, Bronson looked the greatest out of all of them. They look great.
yeah, he looked pretty good. Good
And
finish.
then after McDonough gets eliminated, he beats up Dolph Ziggler, which leads to like I thought it was over as far as like JD McDonough was concerned for the rest of the night. They
No,
had it. They had a
not
video
only
package for this man.
they dropped it like he was dropping the blueprint tomorrow, baby.
I was like, "Yo, this shit looks fucking fire."
I was like,
Then
why didn't you put this before the match, bro?
and then I said, and then they said, and then after that, I was like, "All right, that was cool." You see him again walking out the arena.
I'm like, ain't nobody request all this JD McDonough.
Who did it? Who didn't?
No, but I ain't request all this JD. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, like, bro got 3 segments off rip. I mean, clearly he's a big deal. The Irish Ace.
Clearly they are positioning him to be a big deal, but did you check? Did you look up on your
I
screen
did. Yes, I did.
and
Finn Balor was there
but why are you doing it? What you mean? That's cool.
because no, it was cool. It was cool. I was just about to throw in a joke about him and his ex, and then creeping on his ex.
All right, you gotta be messy. I'm not
I
even
don't wanna know if
ah
you're playing me.
oh
Keep it
my
on
god.
the low.
Mustafa
Um,
Mustafa Ali wins the battle royal. He's going on to face Gunther in Saudi Arabia next weekend at Night of Champions. This is
God
gonna be
bless.
it's gonna be a good defense for Gunther. Well, Ali's finally getting a push that they people kept saying he was supposed to get last year. So I guess it's happening now.
Hey man, Ali got to do something.
And then it made sense too, Mills, because last week he actually won a match. So this week it didn't seem like like unsightly that he would have won this either because he won last week.
I felt this coming. I'm not even gonna hold you. I did feel this coming. I felt like it was pushing it a little bit too hard, and I can tell you because he was one of my choices for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt this coming, so I'm not surprised this happens.
Okay.
I'm not surprised at all. Did
Then
you
you
see the
get
promo for Apollo Crews?
yeah.
This
All
is
right.
Apollo Crews' time.
It's the new Apollo Crews. All right, we gonna see.
Yeah,
Was
nigga.
but you know what I like though, Mills? I'm gonna be real. Like they got the call ups active this week. We didn't
Yes,
have
they
to
did.
wait. We did not have to wait for a lot of these people to be on TV. Obviously, Indy's still there, but she's still injured, so like we're not gonna be able to see her be active for a while. But everyone got active this week. Even Zoe Stark, even if she didn't have a match, they set up something for her next week against Candice LeRae, and I thought it was I'm a lot more positive on this draft coming out than I've been in the past years, and I think
No,
it's
of
because
course, yeah.
a lot of things have made sense so far.
It's we in the H era, you know.
Yeah,
He's his kids. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? He's his these are Sean's kids. These are his stepchildren, his godsons. You know what I'm
um,
saying?
Becky Lynch promo. Whoa,
She was pretty good.
whoa,
She was she was she actually banged it on Trish.
whoa.
Like
I was like,
crazy.
she said she the one. She gonna be the one. Don't need a title to be the one. I'm the one. She said I'm it. Don't need a title to be it. I'm the it. The
Woo,
it. The it.
woo,
IT.
woo.
I said, all right.
It's a Becky Lynch, you know. So
So
getting a
Beck,
little real on, man.
so Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, Night of Champions. I'm gonna say right now before we do predictions, I'm expecting fuckery here, and I'm expecting that Trish to win. But I think it's gonna be interesting to see these two in a match.
It is. Trish can go, so and Becky can go. So I'm actually looking forward to this match. Um and see where this goes. But yeah, you know, contract signing next week,
Yep.
everything going on. So we have that to look forward to. And then
Mhm.
on the other side of the women's thing, when Rhea Ripley isn't beating up men and getting heavily cheered for it, uh,
He's just gonna get cheered for being up Natty.
yeah, she's up and natty, and you know, I like that
I
Becky was looking at the on the TV at Becky Lynch.
Yeah, Rhea was looking at Becky on the TV. They're set. Listen, I'm gonna say it right now, man. I'm gonna say it right now. Um, they're gonna need to find a baby face that people care about before Becky to face Rhea because she is getting babyface cheers, and the only thing that's keeping her booed is when Dominic shows up. And I think that it's cool that they want Rhea to be liked, and it's cool for her to be liked, but I think it's also cool to keep her as a dominant heel champion like she should be.
I don't even know, bro. She's too cool. I can't. She's got a cool tag name. She's got mommy. She dresses fire. She's part of the hottest act on Raw right now. Like
I
there's a lot
agree.
of things moving her way. Yeah, it's hard to turn the tide and on the Becky Lynch gonna have to cut another one of the mitts. Might have to be it part two. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
I
she might
know.
have to go with one of those. Um,
It's tough, bro. I literally am like, she's getting too good of reactions, and I know you don't want to like. I never want to be somebody to be like, no, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? But like, I still feel like they need to put somebody in her way that she'll actually be booed against, or she needs to do something despicable to somebody because she's just doing cool shit, and that's not gonna fly. I don't know. Maybe I'm wilding. Maybe if somebody agrees with me, let me know, or if you disagree, let me know.
hey man,
Um,
you ain't talk about how they did end this year. You talking about all the call ups. You ain't talking about no end this year.
you know what I liked? I like the same the Seth Rollins
Wow. Okay.
video packages during the night. He wasn't there obviously because he was filming Captain America, but they're making this seem like a important thing. They're making this seem important, and I appreciate them for doing so.
Okay. Okay.
Another big surprise on the show: Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler return. I was just asking where these two were, and they showed up on the show one day.
Beating up. Did you see my video on Twitter?
No, I didn't see it.
You didn't see them? How they jumped Raquel Rodriguez
Oh, the
and it
kick.
looked like the scene. It looked the scene from You Got Served where they
Yeah,
played Nas's Heaven. Ooh, heaven
yeah,
was a mile away.
yeah. I was glad to see them because I think that I forgot they were there, and I was like,
I clearly forgot they were fucking there.
yeah, and so it's good to know that they're there. But I'm glad that to see that Liv and Raquel, whenever Liv gets back, she's gonna have they're gonna have like a really cool program coming out of it. Or unless she comes back next week, they can put that on the show.
I mean, they got a couple things. Hopefully her head is okay. She got knocked silly. So yeah, hopefully it looks good.
Last thing here before we get out of here, Cody comes out, um, cuts a cuts a promo. Boy, I said he ain't missed yet, but I'm like, damn, he just really just doing whatever at this point. He like, let me tell y'all a story. I say, yep, this nigga wilding. He was talking about the scorpion and the frog, bro. I'm like, yo, we've heard this before. But all right, go ahead, dog.
It's a Codyism, baby.
Codyisms, man. I think that next week I would love to see Brock Lesnar actually explain why he did what he did. And that's really the only complaint I have about what's going on. I like everything else. What?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of something to say. I really don't got anything to say. Let the
Okay.
match happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for the match. I just wish Brock would say what he has to say. It should be good though. I'm excited. All in all, I thought both shows were good this week. I think that they're on a roll right now. They're rolling into some pretty big shows coming out. Saudi Arabia, obviously. Then they're going to take a couple of weeks off, and then they're going to go straight to UK for Money in the Bank. You got some exciting stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks for WWE. But next week, we're going to be giving our predictions for Night of Champions. Hopefully, the card is going to be settled by then, and we'll be able to talk about and our feelings on what's going to happen with these matches. Some pretty big matches have been announced. I'm pretty excited about it, and I think it's going to be a pretty cool show from the outset so far with the card that they have announced.
I agree. I think so as well. Clearly, I mean, Roman's on the show, so it's already a big show.
Yeah.
And yeah, we got a number of matches already set up, so it's looking like big time. It's looking like a big show. Interested to see where we go from here, and yeah, let's head on to next week.
Yeah. So for next week, thank you guys. Or until next week, thank you guys for listening to the A Show. Make sure you check out the War Report with Quan and Cyrus. Also, Rewriters Room is back. So if you haven't heard that, check that out.
Rewriters Room is really good this week, by the way.
It
Not that
really
they,
is.
not that they don't have, not that they miss anyway, but very enjoyable experience this week. Make sure you guys tune into the Rewriters Room.
Absolutely. And of course, Meals has some cool stuff coming up. We got Retro Diaries coming back pretty soon, right?
Yeah, we're gonna have a retro diaries. I mean, we got one for the month of May. We're recording it this weekend, so hopefully it'll be out sometime next week. So make sure you guys stay tuned to the Patreon so you get that, because it's gonna be a really, really good episode. The only hint I'll say is it's gonna be in 1999, which I've been talking about for a number of years now. So it's gonna be 1999. So make sure you tune in and make sure you subscribe to the Patreon. Get into Patreon, get into Discord, get in everything, and get it in when you can, man.
All right. So for Meals, I'm Justin. Thank you guys for listening to the A Show. Until next week, we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.